Hello, welcome in everybody. My name is Laura from Tenacious Taurus Tarot, and this is going to be a general collective message. And so we are sitting in some very distinctive energies right now. There's a lot being exposed. There's a lot coming to light when it comes to personal expression and core wounds, especially as Chiron is in its stationary phase. And so this means towers and towers and towers galore for everybody. So let's talk about these energies before going any further. Please feel free to hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, comment on the video. It helps circulate the content. It's just a nice, free, easy way to show me some support, and it encourages me to keep putting these messages out there. And so what does it mean? What does it mean in these energies that are being stimulated when it comes to Chiron going retrograde? Well, I think it means breakdowns, and I think it means massive changes in direction. And so when we are in the stationary stage, we need to remember it's not necessarily in retrograde energies yet. It will actually go retrograde on July 27th. It's stationed right now in Aries at 23 degrees 32, which is a mirroring energy. And so there's a lot of projection. There's a lot of mirroring out there. And so this change in direction is going to be crucial. So right now, retrogrades are marking a significant turning point when it comes to doing the internal work. A lot of things are not making sense right now. There's a lot of things leaving our lives, and there's a lot of valuable solutions coming through, but we do need to remember it is about the journey. And so during this stationary phase, the energies are highly potent, they're highly intense, and there's a lot of overshadowing energies connected to all of the other significant transits going on. And so what are you being asked to pay attention to? Chiron in Aries is all about a self-identity wound. And so right now, my personal birth chart with these energies, I've got Chiron stationed in my first house of Pisces. I also have Saturn in Pisces retrograde in my first house. I have Neptune retrograde in Pisces in my first house. I also have the North Node. All of these energies concentrated in my first house. And so I had a little bit of an identity crisis over the last couple of days. I've had to make a lot of sacrifices in my life the last couple of days, which has not been easy when it comes to making some tough decisions that affected not only myself and my children. And so right now, there's a lot of experiences coming to light. There's a lot of intense activations with this Chiron energy stationed at this degree. So if you have any major planets or placements in Aries, Cancer, or Libra, as well as Capricorn, you better be prepared, especially if they're within the 19 to 23 degree range. There's going to be a lot of reconsideration during this retrograde period. So you might be going in a whole new different direction in your life. And that's kind of what it feels like for me. It feels like I'm this wanderer again with no sense of direction or purpose. And so this Chiron retrograde, if you think of retrograde energies, and Chiron goes retrograde at least once a year, and usually for about 4 or 5 months. And so this is nothing new to us when it comes to Chiron being in the sign of Aries. It's been there since about 2018. And so we've been in these Chiron and Aries energies for about the last 6 to 6.5 years. And so with Chiron going retrograde, it's like locking yourself in a room with Chiron, the wounded healer. So you're locked in a room and there's nowhere to go. You're going to be backed into a corner in a room, locked in a room with your core wound. And so there's going to be nowhere to turn to. There's going to be nowhere to run. You're going to have to face these energies. And so you're going to be locked in a room with Chiron. You're going to have to face these core wounds. They're going to have to be integrated. And so whatever this influence means to you, these energies basically are inescapable at this time. And once Chiron actually stations retrograde, this is going to be a deep internal and personal process for each of us individually, along with the collective. And so there's a lot being processed. There's a lot happening right now when it comes to revisiting and going back to our past experiences that have hurt us, that have caused us pain and trauma all the way back to the beginning, all the way back to childhood, and how we keep recreating these painful moments within relationships and how often we can react without even really fully processing what has happened to us. And so trauma, we all experience trauma, no matter how big or small, and it's not a competition to say whose trauma is bigger than the others. We all have our own personal karma, our own personal trauma, and our own personal ancestral lineage that we are here to work through to overcome these identity wounds. And so get ready to revisit a past heartbreak, a past experience, and reflect on it so you can gain that truth, that clarity, and that understanding to finally move forward with a more reflective perspective. And so what do you need to ask yourself? What do you need to ask yourself? I think maybe you need to sit and ask yourself, why do I react the way that I do? Why did I react the way that I did? What were my underlying emotions connected to the difficulties that I faced, that I've repressed, that I've not wanted to look at? Because Chiron is saying it's time to look at this dead in the eye. There's no turning back. You're going to have to process it. You're going to have to revisit it. You're going to have to reflect on these wounds. It's critical. We're at a critical turning point when it comes to this ascension journey. And so many people avoid doing this introspective work because you have to confront your negative emotions. Nobody likes to look at their shadow self. I talked about shadow work on the membership live yesterday. So if you're interested in learning more on your personal journey, and the membership side is more directed towards growth, go check out the membership side of the channel. I'd love to have you join us over there. And so we need to remember, we're not wired to go into experiencing these negative emotions. Who wants to experience negative emotions? Nobody. Nobody. But we have to experience them. We have to do the deep dive into the human psyche in order to understand who we are, why we react the way that we do, so we don't remain stuck in a repetitive negative pattern anymore. And so what is the negative pattern that keeps being triggered in your reality? So for me, I'm talking about a wound of worthiness right now. I was really triggered into words or wounds of worthiness. And so this energy really has highlighted issues of my personal identity right now. I don't even know the path right now when it comes to moving forward. And so I've gone through this processing since my awakening, consciously processing this core wound since 2019. But in hindsight, the journey did begin well beyond 2019. And so what feelings are being brought to the forefront when it comes to being hurt or feeling insecure? So I've gone through a lot of negative relationship experiences, more than I'd like to share. And so there was this deep simmering pain from the last heartbreak where I wasn't even acknowledged when it comes to my existence. Ghosting is a big trigger for me when it comes to my wound. When I feel like I've let others down, like I've let myself down, there's been a lot questioning when it comes to my sense of belonging in this community, when it comes to my sense of belonging with so-called groups of friends, the actions that other people have taken. And I'm just questioning my very existence again. Once again, I'm questioning my very existence. Why do I keep being overlooked? That's the question I've asked myself. Why do I keep being overlooked? Why am I facing so much self-doubt when it comes to the path that I'm on? And why do I feel like I'm constantly dismissed or being criticized or being looked down on or being rejected or hurt from friends and family? And so these are all probably existential questions you might be asking yourself in these energies this weekend, and especially during this retrograde transit. And so since Chiron entered Aries, I've gone through a lot of issues surrounding my identity, surrounding my purpose, surrounding my life in general, and all of these past woundings. If you look at the collective, there's all kinds of identity movements going on when it comes to cultural identities, gender identities, and so none of us are immune from having to face these identity wounds. We all have a core wound, and we all will question our identity to the very core. And so this surge of energy saying it's time to face these issues. We can't mask the issues by jumping from relationship to relationship either. We can't mask our insecurities by going and getting plastic surgery or facial fillers or a boob job or whatever. Those insecurities are still going to be there at the core. I've never really understood facial fillers or Botox or anything like that. I don't even use like creams on my face. I'm going to be 45 going into my next birthday. And I've never, ever been concerned about stuff like that when it comes to aging. Although I have had a procedure done in the past, and that was before my awakening. And so I feel there's something connected to the face, connected to Aries energy. So check that out in your birth chart, and something connected to Cancer energy as well. And so there's also Neptune, I feel, playing a vital role this retrograde with Neptune and Pisces, because there's a core issue, I think, connected to an identity wound that's going to present themselves connected to this Pisces in Neptune retrograde. And so we're all kind of being disillusioned is really what it feels like. And so we need to understand there's nothing wrong with improving ourselves or improving our self-esteem through any type of enhancements or treatments, but we need to understand why we're choosing to do that. Is it really beneficial? Is it really healing? Or are we just masking the underlying insecurity issues? And so Chiron is going to bring our insecurities to light. Nobody likes to address these insecurities, but we have to address them if we're going to be led down the pathway of ultimate healing and integration. So don't get trapped in superficial fixes. Don't get trapped in external solutions, because that's just masking the issue. And so the triggers are going to keep being pulled. The triggers are going to still come. And so true healing will really only come from confronting and understanding our deeper identity issues and our deeper trauma. And so, yeah, you can fix the outside and you can paint the house up and you can make everything look good and shiny and new from the outside. But if you don't do the internal work, it's false. It's superficial. And so when people are being triggered too, personal wounds and insecurities are usually not what they appear to be originally. And so when we observe, when we are reactionary, we need to step back and we need to observe. And I've been doing a lot of that this week. Surface reactions really don't reveal the true nature of the pain. A surface reaction really is just somebody desperate for attention. So really think about what it is that you're desperate for, what it is that you're desperate for externally, and how can you give that to yourself on the inside. There's so many people out there, they're desperate for that promotion at work. And so what are the underlying issues connected to that desperation? And so I wouldn't call the energy desperate for me, but once again, I met with the why. I put in so much work to the collective. I put in so much effort and so much authentic care and empathy towards every piece of information that I gather, that I channel, that I put out there for the collective. And I'm still sitting here saying, why is the channel not growing? I've signed up for a new third-party platform to help me grow the channel. I exited the other third-party platform and I signed up for a new one. It's just been a couple of days, but the energy of why am I not worthy of the success that Spirit has shown me will come? And then questioning the validity of what I have to say and why is it not growing, and understanding the deeper issue there. And so there's been a lot coming up for me as well. Or if, somebody is desperately wanting somebody to love them or to be in partnership with them, there's a deep underlying issue going on, so much deeper than just wanting a partner. And so why do you need that external validation? Why do you feel that you need to be in relationship with somebody to have worth or have value? Why do you need that? And so if you really feel it's a need, you need to understand why, because right now there's a lot of collective deep-seated confusion. And there's a lot of energies and communications out there that are lacking the full context to understand what the actual solution is. And I don't think that there is just a single solution when it comes to understanding these patterns. And so just like the promotion or the partner, none of that is going to fix anything that is going on inside internally. So nothing externally will ever heal or fill that ultimate void, right? And so how can you use this retrograde to heal those wounds once and for all? Because Chiron's going to be going into Taurus next year, and so I do believe this is the final retrograde with Chiron and Aries. And so the worst thing you can do right now is ignore the wound, is ignore the triggers. Go into it. Don't avoid the call. Do not avoid the negative emotions. I actually was told by somebody that I thought was a very solid friend that I had a toxic mindset. That was a huge trigger. I have nobody here. I've been in this journey all by myself since the very beginning of my awakening. And so I've had lots of time to reflect, lots of time to assess, lots of time to connect the dots, and lots of time to heal, understand patterns, and release patterns. And I will be launching a new course coming into this fall, talking about transgenerational astrology and connecting the dots throughout your lineage, throughout your family, to understand the patterns at the core. If that's something that interests you, you're going to want to stay tuned. You're going to want to sign up for this class, because until we release these patterns that keep us stuck, nothing is ever going to fully work. So yes, do we all have to spiral into negative thoughts and negative emotions and negative patterns? Yes. Does it mean that you have a toxic mindset? No. And so that really hurt me. And so what's really been illuminated to me over the last month or so is the truth of who people are. And it's very disappointing and it's very disheartening when the truth of people is shown to you. And if you're being put in a certain situation that is mirroring your pain or triggering you to understand a repeated pattern or a repeated message, that Spirit's like, hey, here's the lesson. So I know Spirit's like, hey, Laura, here's the lesson. Here's the lesson. Boundaries. The lesson for me is boundaries. Do not pour into people that don't pour into you. And so right now, work-wise, I'm feeling zapped. I'm feeling drained. I can't keep pouring from this empty cup. And that's what it feels like. I'm pouring from an empty cup. And a lot of things have left my life recently. And I'm sitting here asking the universe once again, why? And I understand why. Because it's the clearing. It's these people, these places, these things. They can't come with me to the next leg of the journey, to the next level up. And so this weekend really is an excellent opportunity for breakthroughs, for healing, for releasing anything that has held you back. The moon is also going to be in Aries this weekend. So this is going to activate an already intense stationary Chiron energy. And so this energy is also trining Venus at 18 to 19 degrees Leo. So deep-seated healing process is going to be taking place this weekend. So take advantage of the energy. Don't repress it. Don't stuff it down. You can't heal it until you feel it. And you can't overcome the adversities until you face them. And so reflect on the wounds that have been stirred inside of you with Neptune retrograde and Saturn retrograde. I know there's a lot that we need to look beyond when it comes to the initial hurt and the initial wound. And ask yourself what insights are coming to light, because it does feel like a wandering energy. I know it feels sometimes like we're in this simulation at times. And so stability, how can you stay stable in your own truth in these energy? Because there's like a perpetuation of a repeated cycle here that keeps continuing over and over again within relationships that needs to be addressed. And so I know for me, there's a lot of ideas coming through. And all of these ideas are not permanent solutions, but it's part of the journey, right? We have to remember it's a journey. And so the Mott principles, like the gateway cross of spiritual laws, the Mott principles are always seeking to restore that balance and that harmony. And so I feel a massive heart purge. Somebody here has a massive block on the heart. They're showing me the Two of Wands. I feel somebody here has been a storyteller, has not been honest. And so quality over quantity. So my social group is like non-existent at this time as I come into all of these new valuable ideas and themes, because not everybody can come with me. And so we have to be practical, do anything that will allow you to stay grounded. And so we should only speak if it holds value as well. And so right now we're being asked to master our personal expression, to understand that we all have practical ideas that do hold value, that we are here to bring forward, but do not allow the ego to be the driving force moving forward. Allow the heart to be the driving force, because when we allow ego to drive our life and to steer the path, we leave an impression on others that we've misused our power, that we've misused our energy. And don't misuse your energy in trivial material pursuits, because the material world really does hold us back. I know I've really noticed a lot of materialistic viewpoints coming up as well recently. And so genius for expression, Gemini energy. Gemini energy was very prominent in my channeling. And so Gemini is like the linkage, I feel, when it comes to genius for expression. I am a Venus in Gemini. So the one thing I've learned on this journey over the last, 5 years now, consciously, the last 5 years, I've been isolated. Spirit likes me isolated. Spirit wants me in this isolated state so I can find continuity through my cosmic genius. And so eventually recognition and support always comes. And so take that time to mature your own cosmic genius. Maybe look to where Gemini is in your chart. That might be where you need to mature, where you need to recognize where it is. There's something superficial playing out there. Anything superficial will collapse under this retrograde energy, I feel. There's a lot of things collapsing, and eventually people will be forced to move on from these toxic relationship cycles. The universe will force you to move on from anything that does not have enough depth when it comes to your journey. And so be prepared to be alienated during this retrograde period. Adapting to others or not is key, and I'm just coming to terms to realize that maybe I'm not meant to adapt with people physically in my reality. But when you are alienated for long periods of time, you find your determination to be self-sufficient, and that's the truth. So major tower for me when it comes to the lack of support, once again, feeling very much unsupported, and a lot of anger and rage at the fact of the counterpart staying stuck in that karmic situation. And so where there's a will, there's a way, right? And so do not allow egoism to bring you down. The ego can be very overbearing, but I feel right now the energies are guaranteeing for me a continued state of isolation. I guess it's just me, myself, and I. And I'm okay with that now. I've gotten to a place of acceptance, right? I can create my own intricate vitality. I don't need supply, so to speak, from other people. I have the drive to go and to continue this state of isolation and to stay focused. And so that's where my focus is at. My focus is on my home, my family. And so be mindful, because the ego wants to offend people right now. I think there's a lot of ego triggers. And when we are in a state of allowing the ego to drive us, it's going to eliminate the support that we actually need. And so there's a lot of drive to control at the expense of other people right now. And I feel there's this energy too where we're being asked to get our story out. It's like it's being expedited. And so they do say the last part of healing is sharing your story. And I began sharing my story years ago when I started my journey on Facebook. I don't share much about my story anymore because that story isn't mine to share. I've overcome that. And so we can't stay stuck in the endless loop, though, of reliving everything over and over again. So what do you need to bring in to this retrograde to perfect overcoming any parts of your superficial superficiality? What masks do you wear that need to be removed in order for you to show your true feelings to people? So authenticity, I'm really loud about that. What you see is what you get, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so some of us just have this natural gift to play that role for people. A healer will come into your life, and a healer is going to trigger you because the healer is going to shine the light on everything false. And so I know I trigger a lot of people, which is why I spend a lot of time in isolation. And so as a healer, you will attract a lot of attention. You will be noticed for sure, but a lot of those people won't stay. A lot of people are just wandering and passing through. And so a true divine feminine healer will embody unusualness, will embody innovation, and oftentimes spiritual genius. And eventually you're going to attract the right attention and support that you need. And so oftentimes we attract attention and it feels like it's all just self-defeating in all of its effects. And so right now, trust in your power. A lot of us are healers. We're here to provoke. We're here to disturb the status quo. And we will piss a lot of people off along the way. And that's just a part of life. And so be cautious, I feel, because there's a lot of distractions as well, I think, trying to pull us off course. And so be prude with your energy right now. Be prude with your time. Do not give your time to everybody. Honesty in your expression. If you want to secure honor in your life, new friendships, new commitments, you have to have a secure foundation. You have to have secure footing, and you have to be honest. There is this one thing that triggers me the most is dishonesty. I do demand full transparency from people, and I do try to live by my word every single day. And although sometimes I falter and I wander, what you see is what you get. And so I had this underlying yearning for all of this acceptance. And so there's a need to release. There's a need to release the need for acceptance, because not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody is going to love what you create, and there will be rejection along the path, and rejection really is a form of God's protection. And so to be a divine feminine, to be in the spotlight, it's a very difficult role. It's a very difficult path, because the path is unknown, and you are the path. You are creating the path. And so eventually you will be recognized for the efforts that you've yielded to create new earth, to help awaken and shine that light in others. And so if you feel like you're wandering through life right now, be that wanderer. Be the wanderer. So right now, I feel there's a lot of past memories being awakened in the third eye. Give me a minute. I don't even know where I was at with that train of thought. There was a little crisis upstairs with the girls. It's a lot. It can be a lot sometimes, running a household and being a single mom and running a business and carrying this burden along with the collective energies. It can be a lot sometimes. But right now I feel there's a lot of visual memories being recollected, and we are being asked to verbally recount them. I think get ready to look back. It's like a look back at history, this life, past lives. And so in order to be a philosopher, we have to believe, right? We have to believe. And so ideas are definitely not a solution, but we are being called to action. Those that have been called for the awakening, we are being called to action. It's time to embrace the journey. It's time to express yourself verbally and authentically. And it's time to understand that this is the completion of a major process of healing a self-identity wound. So what are we here to teach about? We're here to teach about life. We're here to teach about facts. We're here to teach about all of our own unique lessons that we have learned that will come from only our interpretation of the experiences that have touched us with emotional undertones. And so our stories need to be told. Our stories combine this gathering together of all of the tapestry, of all of the colorful threads, holding us all together as a collective consciousness, expanding this tapestry of energies when it comes to the progression of humanity right now. So we are at the gateway of justice. And so if you're searching for new sources of information, I think there is this energy of a block because there's something that needs to be moved on from. So the Two of Swords and the Six of Swords was loud. And when these two cards appear in my meditative third eye session, I feel this is a very difficult decision. I feel this is an indication of a difficult decision that needs to be made. And I had to make a difficult decision this week, and it hurt. and difficult decisions are painful. And so I think the energies are saying it's time. It's a sign that it's time to make that difficult decision between two paths. Take the rose-colored glasses off and see something at face value. Whether this is a decision to stay or leave, should I stay or should I go, or if it's to compromise or not. Either way, we are all going through our own personal transition in some way, shape, or form, whatever that is for you. Mine is going to be different than yours because we all have our own personal transition where we either need to move away from a current situation, and it's hard. Endings are hard. All endings are hard. I had to surrender and rehome Kitty this week, and that was painful because I got home from my vacation and she had peed on the carpet. She had peed on my daughter's mattress. And the astronomical quote at the vet, I just couldn't financially do it. So we had to surrender Kitty, which was a very difficult decision. It hurt all of us, but it needed to be done. And so life sometimes involves making some tough decisions. Eventually, when you choose to make the tough decision, it does bring clarity, it does bring understanding, and it does bring positive changes ultimately, right? And so whatever the meaning is for you when it comes to a difficult decision, it's here, right? Depending on what your own personal situation is. I don't have a choice between two. I don't have a choice between anything right now. And so right now I'm choosing myself. But there might be two conflicting choices, two conflicting paths, or something that you need to take initiative towards. And so that's what the Six of Swords is saying. Take that initiative, make the difficult decisions so you can move forward. I was also shown the Empress with the Ten of Cups together. So what does this mean for the Divine Feminine Collective? These cards combined are saying it's time for you to understand what needs to leave your life in order to create that perfect balance for your creation journey. Productivity and family values. And so family's in focus. I also have my uncle that is unwell and back in the hospital. And so send some positive vibes and prayers for him. But the Ten of Cups for me is total love, total contentment within a family. And so I actually seen a post on Facebook the other day, which I'm seriously considering deactivating during this Chiron retrograde period. I feel I need just a major break from social media when it comes to Facebook. But what do you need to do to support your family union? I saw a post on Facebook and it said somebody posted about kudos to all the single mothers out there, and I put a heart on the post. And then I seen another single mother comment below, and she prefers to be called only mother, not single mother, only mother, because it's only the mother there doing everything. And that's kind of where I'm at, only the mother. Those that know me personally and have followed me throughout the years, I don't ever get a break. The only person I have to co-parent with is my mother and my stepfather. So I don't get a break. The girls have no contact with their father. He chose to give up all visitation rights. That's filed with the court systems. And so to build a supportive family unit, just me, myself, and I, with the girls as only mother, right? And so you can have a productive and prosperous future as an only mother or a single mother if that's your personal situation. I know that's not everybody's personal situation. But the Ten of Cups is total love and contentment within the family, whatever that means for you, depending on your own personal situation. The Empress card, though, in the Ten of Cups, I feel is a reminder. It was a huge reminder for me that your relationship should be a huge source of ultimate satisfaction and joy. And so if you are in a relationship or in a partnership and you are not in a state of satisfaction and joy, that's karmic. Get out the way and get on your path in a different direction. Because the energy of abundance, fertility, and growth is never going to be there, because that is just a disaster when it comes to love if you are not in the ultimate state of satisfaction and joy. Trust me, I know. And so your heart will speak volumes when it comes to whatever relationship you might be questioning at this time. This is a prime time of creation, of growth, and going into the void. We have to go into the void. So be mindful that your needs are getting met before meeting anybody else's needs. Fill your own cup first. Be patient with yourself. There might be some tough communication issues coming up here. We also have Mercury going retrograde on August the 4th. preparing us for this lion gate. And so be patient with yourself, be understanding with yourself. The energy really is fertile to bring something into fruition, I feel, after these retrogrades. So if you are lacking a sense of peace and contentment in your life, whether it's due to a relationship, whether it be a love relationship, a work relationship, a friendship relationship, if that relationship is not filled with mutual love and respect and support, cut them out. All I got to say is I got this piece of moldavite out in the UK. I was in Glastonbury, and it is a polished piece of moldavite. And moldavite comes to clear the path. And let me tell you, the path is being cleared. There is going to be like nothing left after this retrograde is kind of how it feels. And so if a relationship doesn't encourage you, doesn't appreciate you, if you feel like a lack of meaning, or that you can't share and be open with these people through your heart, whoever these people are that you're questioning, cut them out. Commit to that stable relationship of self. Because I feel the energy is reminding us that the love shared between two people actually should be a sacred bond. It should be two people devoted to each other and devoted to the relationship. And if you're not there and you're in relation with somebody, maybe it's a sign that it's time to walk away. If you're both not willing to invest in growth and the deepening of a connection, if you're both not willing to do whatever it takes to make a relationship thrive, then you're really not in that relationship, right? And so make the difficult decision. Make the difficult decision to recognize the importance of commitment. And so what are you committed to? What are you dedicated to? Because really isn't all about an external relationship. It really is about the connection that you have with yourself. And you can't have joy and blessings and fulfillment in any relationship externally until you create that within yourself first. So that's kind of what I got, right? That's kind of what I got. So I feel right now this represents a time of healing, nurturing, understanding family patterns, understanding family dynamics, getting to the core of what it is that you need to feel safe when it comes to love and connection with others and love and connection with yourself. And so the energy I feel are just reinforcing the message of nurturing yourself, trusting in yourself, standing up for family, standing up for what is right, standing up for love. And if you're feeling overburdened or like pulled in all of these different directions, acknowledge what needs to be cut out to create that source of security in your own life, because love is a very important part of the healing journey, but it does all have to start with self. So what do you need to nourish yourself from the inside out with in order to accept and receive love and support? I know that that's a big thing for me. I don't even know how to receive love. I know how to give love. I know how to give support. I don't know how to receive love because I've never actually been loved right. I've never actually been loved according to my needs. And I've never actually met somebody that I could have an external relationship with in a romantic sense that I could fully trust. Because everybody that I've given my trust to has stomped all over it, has broken it. And so right now my path, I feel, is towards health, family, and wholeness. And that's where I'm at. So I'm not sure where you're at, but that's where I'm going to leave it at today. I'm not pulling any cards today. I've not been drawn to the tarot recently. I don't really have much to say with the cards lately, but if you're still stuck around, I appreciate that. Thank you for all of your time. Thank you for all of your support on the channel. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, we're looking at about 3 to 4 weeks lead time at this point in time. So keep that in mind. There is a link below to book a reading with me if that's something that you like. But don't forget to check out the membership side of the channel. I will still be going live every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time over there. And I do look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.